Yeah, so why don't you explain a little bit why you decided to do podcasting for content creation for your business?
So, and taking a step back from that too, I got into video, YouTube, probably about 7-8 years ago. So I started putting, and I just did it, actually my recent podcast is with Herman, a gentleman I met at the dog park 11 years ago, where he said, hey, do you do websites? I go, for my office, I'm like, I'm not sure about websites. I'm just wanting to start doing that or not.
Yeah.
It might be a fad or something. This is 2019, so 11 years ago, I'm a mathematician. It is a while back. So we started doing that together, and then from website to a static website, some words here and there, some content, some maybe small short videos, and from there to YouTube, to where we went to all the way from 1-minute video. Actually, we had 10, 15-minute videos back then, long form videos. And my sense being a chiropractor, about back pain, about neck pain, shoulder pain, how to recover from this.
Right.
So I would do 3 written articles, and then 1 long format video that would talk about all the articles. Now going 2019, now it's shorter videos, doing podcasts, everything else too, because I had enough content to do it. I do workshops at a couple centers in Upland, Ontario. I used to do in-office workshops, also too, for my patients, along with outside talks sometimes. Yeah. So I started putting those onto a audio format. Right. I listen to this guy called Gary Vaynerchuk or something.
I don't think many people who are interested in marketing know who this guy is.
At all. A lot of this, he said, hey, the next thing is, when I was on YouTube already, had a lot of videos there, and Facebook too, and Instagram had started, I think, at that point.
Right.
Exactly, okay, what's the next step? How do I get my next audience to go from this, because I love podcasts myself. I'm a podcast freak. When I go work out, when I go for a run, when I get in the car for a long time, I listen to podcasts. For the last at least 10 years.
Yeah.
So I go, how do I get my content on there? So I watched a Google video, and then I listened to this guy, Pat Flynn.
Which showed awesome. He taught me a lot of things too.
Well, he taught me exactly how to set up your video to audio to a podcast.
Yeah.
So a lot of it was you have to do your homework to do it the right way. So once you have a system in play, then you can go from there. I can do this every week.
Right.
And then set a system up for you, because it's work.
Yes.
It's not easy. It's work. The audio stuff you have to do, the manipulation sometimes, and sometimes what you think is good isn't good.
Yeah.
So you have to really go, okay, how do I make sure my system's in play that you do, and sometimes what I do for my video, my podcast too, is do an intro audio along with a wrap up. So that takes time also.
Yes.
I go to the gym, I take my YouTube video, and I listen to it, and I take notes on specific topics I want to highlight in my podcast as part of my post. So that's another job too. So it takes about maybe to do a podcast from a video I already have, maybe about an hour and a half. Yeah. Every week.
Yeah.
For the last 52 plus weeks.
Surprisingly though, for the amount of content though, that's the part, is that from it, it's, if you turn it into a blog, if you do a video, if you do audio, it's a lot of content. Plus, if you snip it up a little bit, you got social media. For an hour and a half of work, for at least 2 weeks worth of content, maybe a week and a half, let's say, if you're really pushing it.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of time for that much content. In reality, I mean, if you were to design a post for every single day, or that would residually have impact, it would take 5-10 hours a week or a month, and that's depending on how fast you are.
And I'm lazy about it. I do it and I go. I'm not an editor and let's go redo that again. Let's manipulate the sound, whatever it is. I go. So a lot of it is I use my podcast from this week as a full post, and also on my social medias, along with a clip from that too in a couple days. So even though I've done it once, I'll use it on all the platforms, distributed everywhere, to make sure everyone knows where to go. Yeah. And rabbit hole it back to the YouTube channel or YouTube video or back to iTunes.
Right.
So you want them to go, in my sense, back to the overall list of podcasts, not just the one you want to listen to today.
Yeah.
So you know how to find you, how to look at the next one, and maybe even intro from my wrap up. Hey, here's my next one, or here's my previous one. If you want to go back, listen about neck pain recovery or exercise about this. So you kind of rabbit hole wherever I can to make sure people know where else to go.
Yeah.
No dead ends.
True.